Hi everyone, welcome to episode 94, I believe, of the Yarnivore podcast. Let me double check my notes. Yes, 94, episode 94, and camera's over here this time. Alrighty, I'm Sadie. I'm your hostess with the mostest, and who else would it be? Who else would be here? No one. That's who. So, yeah, it's been 2 weeks. I apologize. Last week I was going to podcast and my husband got off early and I'd rather spend time with him. So that's what happened. Honestly, I didn't have as much to show for because I was very monogamous 2 weeks ago, and so I have some FOs to show for that. My lovely owl mug that was sent to me by a wonderful viewer, and I'm having creme brulee coffee. Lactose intolerance means I love anything that has a flavor of creme brulee because I can't normally have it. So, three technically, but 2 finished objects is what I'm gonna say. I finished the knee-high socks I was working on, which was my Desert Vista Dye Works for April. I finished it right at the last second on the 30th. So, but these are Franken socks. There's 2 of them. Here, I'll hold them both up. They look kind of wonky because of the ribbing. I used the Drops 104-9 pattern, which is a free pattern. And I ended up knitting the small on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle, and it worked for me. I can only imagine what the large, it's supposed to be baggy at the top, which didn't work for me. So here's the pair of them. They are not remotely similar except for the feet. The feet are similar because I only used the Zine base on the feet, which is the 75-25-5 Superwash Merino Nylon Stellina. And then for the top, I only used the Viso base, I believe, which is the 75-25 Superwash Merino Nylon. And yeah, I love them. I took pictures. There are pictures. They are on my Instagram, which of course is Sadie Ruin, if you didn't already know. And yeah, they're done. And now that I've shown them to you, I can wear them. Yay! And yes, I wove in all the ends. All the ends are woven in. I did that before I took pictures because I figured if I didn't, it wouldn't get done. The other big finish I have, which I'm super pumped about, and it still needs to be blocked. We all know this. Everything needs to be blocked in my life. But the weather is actually cooperating. There might be blocking happening sometime soon, in which case I will actually take pictures of me in the Nanilchik Swan Show, which is by Caitlin Hunter, who is Boyland Knitworks. And I finished it. It is gorgeous. So I did the smaller size. You're supposed to go for, I think it advises you to do like 10 to 12 inches bigger. Like that's the ease, like 10 to 12 inches of positive ease. But I ended up going with like 7, I think, because I thought that the other one was just too much. And I had a limited amount of the yarns I was using. And I could use all of them if I went with the smaller one. And the smaller one on me, so I'm a 40, it changes so much. Here, let me tell you. I am currently a 47-inch bust in this bra. And I have big old hips. They're at least a 52 last time I checked. I doubt they've gone down. So I tend to gravitate towards larger sizes anyway. So that's what I've got, and I've got a lot of room in this thing. I'm not going to put it on because I think that would just mess with my hair, with my outfit, and I'm going to have one of those moments because it hasn't been blocked, so it can be a bit of a beast to wrangle into, but it is massive. It's a smaller size, it's massive, and it's comfy, and I like that, and I think it's going to be great for cooler nights. I think when the fall rolls around, I will get a lot of use out of this. And I ended up with a whole skein left over of the Cake DK Socks That Rock, which was my main color. I ended up with like a teeny little ball and an entire skein left, so I can do something out of that, which is nice. I love the color anyway. So let's go through this, shall we? we have the main color, which is the sleeves, the body, and some other stuff, is the Cake DK by Socks That Rock in the Plumpy Sun Angel colorway, which I think is, I don't get the reference, so it's not, yeah. The dark gray is Fat Squirrel Fibers Walnut DK base in the Pumpkin Puss House colorway. The bright blue turquoisey color is Socks That Rock Heavyweight in the Aquarius. And lastly, but not leastly, the gorgeous purpley color is We Will Tell You All of Our Secrets in the DK base, and it's logwood and cochineal mordanted with alum or iron, I can't remember, but it's logwood and cochineal. So there you have it. The ends are not woven in on this. I will do that, and then I will block it. But oh my goodness, look at how pretty it is. And yeah, so it's huge. I was worried it wasn't going to be big enough for my shoulders because I have linebacker shoulders. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm very shouldery. I tend to not fit things in the shoulders when I fit them elsewhere. Thanks, genetics. So I was worried about that, but no, it fits good. It does come a little high, tight on the neck, so I am going to block the living bejesus out of it to get it to open up a bit, just because I don't like things like this. But yes, I finished it, and I'm so happy. So happy. So those are my two big finishes, which is why I was being super monogamous, because I got really close, and then I was like, I have to do it. You know, when you're motivated, and you're like, well, first of all, I had to finish the Desert Vista Dye Works because I had to be on time, because I am doing it, and apparently when I am doing it, I am doing it. And so April had to get done, and I was starting to worry, but I did finish it ahead of time by a couple of hours. And they were knee highs, so I was getting a little crazy there. And the Swan Show, I was on a bender and I had to finish it, you know, where you get to that point where it's like, no, nothing else is getting worked on, this is getting finished now. That was where I was at with the Swan Show, and I did that. Basically because I had caked up and wanted to cast on something else, and it was sitting there staring at me. I could lie to you, but I was basically like over the Swan Show, and I wanted to get to the other stuff. Okay, so works in progress in no particular order. I got a little bit more done on the socks, and I've got a couple of people interested in test knitting, so that's good. And that's what the back looks like. And it is the Cascadia Wildflowers colorway, which is going to be restocked this weekend in the shop. I'm using US 1 2.25mm needles, and I'm knitting 2 at a time because I thought that would be good for traveling. And it was. It's in a Fat Squirrel Fibers bag, and I'm not going to show you more because that's where it's at. I think I knit a couple of rounds, so it's nothing really big to talk about. But now that the Swan Show and the socks are done, I can get back to them. Then, okay, so overshare moment. If TMI is, well, it's not TMI, but if you get sad, just fast forward a smidge until you see this. When I found out that my niece had passed away, I was dyeing yarn at the time. I was in the middle of dyeing up what I was dyeing that day. And so when I started back to dyeing this week, it was hard. It was hard on me. So I had a rough day, and I had a rough couple of days, but I got through it, and this is how it goes. We have a new normal, and it's all good. But it was just a little like, it was jarring, and it was something I just had to work through, which was fine. But anyway, moral of the story, I had a rough day. You can come back. So my husband decided to have an impromptu date night. He took me out for sushi, and then we went to the Avengers Infinity War. No spoilers here. So I had caked up my May choice for Desert Vista Dye Works 4th annual sock monthly club thingy, which is Edward Scissorhands, because you can't go wrong with Edward Scissorhands. I hadn't started the sock, and usually when I go to movies, I will pre-start my socks. I will do the ribbing, but I wasn't aware and I didn't have time, so I was like, whatever, I'll just go. I'll cast on in the theater. It's not a big deal. We went to the 3D showing. It was the 3D that messed with my head. So I cast on, and I got it started. I started the ribbing, and I was like, oh man, I messed up. So I ripped it out, kept going, and restarted and kept going. And so this is the first movie since the second one of The Hobbit where I knit in the theater and I screwed things up royally. And yeah, so I had to, when I got home, I looked at it, and instead of ribbing, I had done basket weave because that's how off my count was. So I just ripped it out and started again. Yesterday, Thursday, I went for coffee with my lovely friend Tabitha, who is behind the Stitching Narwhal, who does bags, and who I team up with from time to time. And there's a knitting group that meets Thursday mornings in Poulsbo, and that was, so we met them a while ago before, and so we went back, and it was just nice to have a sit and a knit, and I got this far on my sock. So this is my May choice, and I'm using US 1 2.25 millimeter needle, which I know now because I found my sizer and I checked, and these Addies, these are sock rockets. I can tell because of the blue cable. They're US 1s. And I'm just doing a plain. I'm doing the plain. I'm being boring. Got the ribbing done. Moving into the sock. It's the 3rd of May, or the 4th of May. I have time. And I am using my sock size zigzag stitches bag, which is adorable. It has sheep. It says the family of sheep in French on it. And yeah, I love it. So that got worked on. I'll show you this again, just briefly, because again, it's stockinette for years. We were watching some TV last night, and I decided to pull this guy out and work on it. It's the Sunset Highway, also by Caitlin Hunter. I am in the miles and miles of stockinette, so I got another inch or two. I think an inch and a half on the body. And I'm using 3.5 millimeter needles. It's what's called for, and it is living in my yarn bowl that my husband painted for me because he's a sweetheart. And yeah, so that got a little bit of work. It's not going to be interesting until I'm at the sleeves now because it's just solid stockinette for years. Let me push it in. Oh yeah, you can kind of push it all in there. It's a big bowl. It's a rather big bowl. And like I said, I was like going gangbusters on the Nanil Chick Swan Show because I wanted to cast on something, and that's something I wanted to cast on, my peoples. Was The Breathing Space by Vera Valimaki, which everyone and their cat and dog have cast on and made, and so I am finally getting there. It's gorgeous. I love it. I want one. I went through a period where I was like, there's no way I'm ever gonna wear a knit sweater, and then I made the True Friend by Vera Valimaki, and that kind of like has become my go-to sweater. I wear it all the time, and so I was like, I am comfortable making this because I know I'll get a lot of wear out of it because I did with the other one. I like the diagonal stripes. I like the stripes. Let's face it, I'm into stripes. I love stripes. It's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. Her models are gorgeous. Everything is gorgeous. I am making the 2nd largest size. What is the 2nd largest size? Let me tell you. That would be the extra large. I'm making the extra large 46-inch bust. It says to choose a size with no ease to a small amount of positive ease. I'm okay with being a little bit of negative ease on that because I didn't gauge swatch and I might be knitting a little loose. And then it flares out on the hip anyway, so that'll be fine. That'll work for me. And I'm keeping it in my bird leg bags bag as I throw things, because that's what I do. I throw things around. It's my bird leg bag. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful. It has multiple straps. It's made out of a lovely heavy canvas. It has pockets. I know I've shown this to you before. I just love it though. Might need to get another one. I cast on, I had, my husband was on the ship overnight, and so I was bored. I was by myself. I'd finished the Swan show, and I figured I'm gonna watch Call the Midwife, which I've been sort of stocking up on. I had a couple episodes I could watch, so I did a Call the Midwife marathon, and I got this. And I'm past the short rose. It's gonna be hard to show you. It's this gorgeous green. It's kind of a celery almost. It's beautiful. And I'm using US 4 3.5 millimeter needles, and the ribbing is done on a 3 millimeter needle, which I believe is a US 3, but there's also the 3.25. I used the 3 millimeter because that's what it said. Like I said, the short rows are done. The arm increases are started. So this is the one color, this gorgeous green, and I'm putting with it this amazing blue. So that's what they look like. Oh, and I've got my glittery poop stitch marker. Let's see. There you go. Glittery poop. It's glittery rainbowy poop. Yeah. From Truffle Shuffle. I scored one update. Those are so hard to get. I have an octopus, a poop, and a couple of bats, and the bats are awesome. The octopus is also awesome, and I like the glittery poop. So the Amazeballs green is Squishy by Anzula Luxury Fibers. It's 80-10-10 Superwash Merino Cashmere Nylon in the herb colorway, and it is gorgeous. And then the blue I picked up in Salt Lake City. I think it was Salt Lake City. It was at Blazing Needles. I'm not sure if that's in Salt Lake proper. It was in Utah when we were visiting. And it's Quince & Company Finch, which is 100% American wool in the river colorway. It's so gorgeous, and it feels good. Like, usually when I hear 100% wool, I think it's gonna be all like scratchy, but it's not so bad. However, comparatively, the stuff I could just like lay on. But either way, it's going to be a wonderful sweater, and I'm looking forward to continuing on with it because, hey, I like Vera Balamaki's stuff. Her and Joji Locatelli can do no wrong in my books. So that is also something I am working on. Put it over here. Now, if you're just here for the knitting and stuff, I completely understand. So this would be where you kind of go away, and I will see you next week. Of course, I will hopefully be back to doing once a week scheduling, and I'm going to show you what is going to be in the shop update on Sunday, which is May the, I want to say 6th. Is it the 6th? Friday the 4th, Saturday the 5th, Sunday the 6th. Yes, Sunday, May 6th at noon Pacific Standard Time. There's going to be an update. I have some wonderful new things coming in, and I'm going to show them to you now. So, if that interests you, I hope your coffee's plentiful. Okay, first off, I did a poll on Instagram, again, Sadie Ruin, or Blue Ruin on Ravelry, and of course the channel Sadie Ruin, or you can just search Yarnivore. Do like, subscribe, and share if you want, and do join the Ravelry group because that's awesome. Anywho, and then there's the Knitter's Nightmare Ravelry group. I'm all over the place, I tells ya. And there's also a Knitter's Nightmare Yarn and Fiber on Facebook. I did a poll on Instagram, and people wanted gradients and shawl sets and sweater sets. So I've done them all now. And the first set is going to be called Beautiful Disaster. And it is, well, it's not a gradient, but it's kind of like a fade, but I didn't want to call it a fade, so. And there will be two sizes of sweater, a fingering weight sweater and a sport weight sweater, and then there will be two sizes of shawl kit. There will be the regular shawl kit, which is 5 skeins at 25 grams each, for 125 grams or 400 and something yards. I did the calculation, I don't have it in front of me. Or the supersize shawl kit, which is 5 times 50-gram skeins, which gives you 850 grams, I believe. Yeah, either way. All the yardage and everything is going to be posted, but there's 2 sizes of shawl kit and 2 sizes of sweater kit. And so the 2 gradient fade-ish sets I'm going to show you will be available in those. They will not be available as single skeins. They will only be available as sets. And so this is the first color. This is the second color. The green isn't picking up as much, but if you see them together, you can see where the green is. And then this is the third, and the pink is in there. And then this is the fourth. And I'm running out of hands, and that's the fifth. And it's gorgeous, and that is the Beautiful Disaster set. That's what I'm calling it. So that will be available in all those sizes. Then we have 2 one-offs that are going to be in there. One is, of course, the Cascadia Wildflowers, which will be coming back. And a new colorway called Tulip Festival, which is inspired by the pictures from the Skagit Valley Tulip Festival. And it has some lovely greens and blues and reds and pinks and oranges and yellows. And it's just super, like, happy and springy. It will be available in sport and fingering. There's just fingering for the Cascadia Wildflowers. And then the second set, the second colorway set that is going to be showing up is called New Ocean Waves. And so it starts with this one, and it goes into this one, which has some blue highlights, which you can kind of see, into this one, into this one, and my hands are running out again. Hold up, there we go. I should have used the shawls. These are the sweater size one, and into that one. So it looks like that. I really like this one too. It's so pretty. I'm partial to blue and purple, can you tell? So there's these ones, and those will all be in the shop noon, May the 6th, Pacific Standard Time. There's a dog snoring at my feet. That's pretty much everything I have to report for you. I haven't done any major sewing. I've been thinking about it. I've been doing some cross stitch. I'll probably do a floss tube update soon. And yeah, I hope to see everyone again next week. Like I said, feel free to comment. I'm trying to get better at responding to them. And subscribe to the channel, join the Ravelry group, add me on Instagram. I'm always around. See ya.